Today I'm telling you a wild and wacky Italian fairy tale. Like most of them, everyone is extra. It starts with a girl being raised by a disembodied glowing buffalo head. It's called the buffalo head. It starts with a farmer angrily hoeing the wretched soil in his field. He's just like, my soil gives nothing. His hoe hits something hard and he digs up a buffalo head that is twice the size of any other buffalo head. And it's not a skull, it's like a whole head. This is the Italian Mediterranean buffalo for your reference. But it's double that size, its fur gleamed, and its eyes were open and bright so that it looked as if it were alive. The farmer is instantly like, I'm gonna kill it, But the buffalo head, which is female, says, don't kill me, I will be the making of one of your daughters if you spare me. Suspecting that magic was at play, you think? The farmer's like, okay, so he puts the head down and covers it with his jacket, and he's like, wife, send out one of my daughters to me. When the oldest daughter arrives, he says, hey, go look under my coat, with no explanation. And she looks under and she's like, oh my God, what a hideous thing, and runs home scared. He calls for the second daughter, she does the exact same thing, but as you might have guessed, the third daughter has a very different reaction. She says, what a pretty little head, what fine horns. Papa, where did you find this wonderful buffalo head? And because of those compliments, the buffalo head is like, my dear child, would you like to come live with me and be my child? And she goes, if Papa lets me, I'll go right now. And the farmer didn't have a heart to refuse, so she lets her leave with the buffalo head. If you're wondering, how does the buffalo head travel? It tells us specifically. The head led the way, capering on its horns, and the child followed, clapping and dancing with joy. And then the head takes her to a trap door and uses its horns to open the trap door. The buffalo head leads her down glass stairs into this beautiful underground chamber. Nice furniture. The buffalo head raises her there, and it says she has a super happy childhood. She learns how to sew and cook, and all from the head. The story mentions she also learns how to read and write. She calls the buffalo head mama and just loves the buffalo head. But then one day when she's like a teenager, she's like, I kind of want to go above ground and get some fresh air. And the buffalo head's like, okay. It gives her a silver dress and a stool and says, you can go knit up in the clearing. Now, while she's up in the clearing, a prince happens by and he sees her and he talks to her and just falls in love with her. And I mean, I really like that at least they have a conversation before this happens. That's rare. He's like, hey, you want to come to my palace and marry me? And she's like, yes, but let me check with the buffalo head. The girl goes down and asks the buffalo head if she can marry the prince. And the buffalo head is like, okay, but you have to remember to be grateful. I'm responsible for all the good that's come your way, even this prince. And you have to make sure when you leave, you don't leave a single thing behind. And the girl's like, okay, got it. The prince goes home and to get his entourage and carriage. And when he comes back, she's so excited. She does not say goodbye and thank you to Buffalo Head. And she leaves a comb behind. But she realizes it fairly quickly. They're on the road and she's like, oh my God, I have to go back. I need my comb. And he's like, there's going to be plenty of combs at the palace. And she's like, no, I have to get this one. And he's like, okay. So she goes back. She rushes to Buffalo Head and she's like, I'm so sorry I didn't say goodbye. And she's like, oh, it's okay. Your comb's right over there. So our girl goes to get the comb, but when she finds it and looks in the mirror, she sees she now has a giant buffalo head as punishment for not being grateful and leaving the comb behind. The girl's like, Mom, what did you do? And Buffalo Head's like, you were ungrateful, sorry. So our girl puts a big veil on, goes back with the prince, and when they're alone together, he finally takes the veil off and sees that she's kind of a monster now, and he's horrified. His first thought was to have her burned at the stake, but then he talked to his mom and she's like, let's just lock her in the attic. So that's what they do. Time passes and eventually the mom is like, son, you gotta marry someone else. And he's like, but I promised to marry the Buffalo Head girl. And she's like, okay, we're gonna get these two girls who wanna marry you to have a contest with Buffalo Head. And after the contest, then you can break that arrangement because she'll lose and you can marry one of the pretty girls. And he's like, sounds good. The first contest is to see who can spin flax the best. The other two brides like get to spinning and Buffalo Head just sits and weeps because she's like, what is the point? She finally goes back to Buffalo Head and she's like, Mom, please change me, this sucks. And she's like, I'm not gonna change you, but here, give the prince this walnut. So the other two girls present the flax that they spun and he's like, ooh, good. And our girl just gives him a walnut and he's like, oh my God, you're just trying to humiliate me, right? But he bites into it and suddenly the best flax comes out of the walnut. But then the queen is like, oh, I still don't want you to marry her though, so now we're gonna make a new test. The next test is to make a linen shirt. The same thing happens. Our girl goes crying to Buffalo Head. Buffalo Head's like, I'm not changing you, but here, give him this hazelnut. And of course, when he bites into the hazelnut, it's a better shirt than the other two girls made. So the queen's like over it at this point. She's like, all right, the last test is we're going to hold a ball and whoever shows up and is the the prettiest wins, knowing our girl's not gonna win that one. The other two girls exert all their skill to be the most beautiful, rubbing down their bodies with aromatic oils, making up their faces, setting their hair in every way imaginable, trying on all the dresses, and not even sleeping. Our girl goes back to Buffalo Head and she's like, "Mom, please fix me. I am so sorry." Finally, Buffalo Head's like, "Well, if you could go back, what would you do?" And she's like, "I would tell you I'm so grateful for you. I wouldn't have let anything behind." And finally, Buffalo Head's like, "All right, I forgive you," and transforms her back into the beautiful girl she was before. The girl is super grateful this time. She kisses her and hugs her and says, "Oh my gosh, I love you, thank you, thank you, thank you." When it's time for the presentation, the other two girls come before the prince and he's so mean to them. He lifts one's veil and says, "What's this? She's nothing but padding from top to bottom." And then with the second one, he's like, "My word, this one's all ribbons and paint." Like, dude, you're the one who told them to make themselves the most beautiful. Get over it. But then he sees our girl and says, "Oh, it's my wife. You're pretty now. Oh, thank God." And then they got married and lived happily ever after. There's so many fairy tales about being grateful to usually the supernatural or not socially acceptable person who raised you. Sometimes in stories like these, it's an ogre or a fairy. But this is the only one I've read so far where it's just a glowing, sentient buffalo head, which makes it extra special.